Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday for everybody. Um, what I really wanted to talk about today, and what I wanted to touch on today was I made a post about boycotting Chinese businesses because of around the world how blacks are being treated by Chinese people. Here's the thing, let's not get it twisted and let's understand something. This isn't something that just started, and in my opinion, and based on some facts, I believe personally, black people are one of the most hated races in the entire world, first of all. Now, I don't want people to get their panties in a bunch and start saying things like, oh my God, Jonathan's racist, or, my white counterparts, now they're saying, oh, we didn't know he felt that way, and now he's racist. No. First of all, I'm black first. Let's make that clear. And second of all, far from racist. I'm just speaking some facts. Now, is that going to change how I interact with my white counterparts? Absolutely not. Is that going to affect the people that are in my life that may be of a different race? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the thing is that I kind of wanted to touch on the boycotting of the Chinese businesses, because we've been, as a black people, we have been mistreated by too many other races. And we've turned the other cheek and we've said, it's okay, it's fine. I had one person tell me that, well, not all Chinese people are that way. Hey, that might be true. Not anybody is that way. But as a whole, we've been treated, pretty bad as a whole. And the reality of that is that, I can't necessarily speak on when it comes to black and Chinese relations, because the reality of it is that they've never extended a hand out to allow me to even get close enough to them to even understand anything about them, to be honest. Now, am I saying that, Chinese people, I wouldn't ever talk to a Chinese person, or I'd exude some type of racism or bad attitude towards them? Absolutely not. But what I am telling you is that when it comes to my hard-earned dollar and where I spend my money, I will not partake in them living whatever type of lifestyle that they live based off my money. No, I'm not going to do that. And I suggest that any black person that has any pride about themselves, or any, any type of dignity, I suggest that, you boycott Chinese businesses. For far too long, man, they've been living off of our dollar. I don't think what most people realize is that, black people, we spend more money in this economy. We're marketed and geared towards, when it comes to spending, more so than any other race. And we're the people that go out and buy all of this stuff that we're marketed towards. Our dollar means a lot. Trust me, our dollar means a lot. The money that we spend, trust me, our race of people, we spend a lot of money. And trust me, our dollar is very important, because people talk about, here's the funny thing, people talk about slavery, and people talk about, I'm a firm believer, and this is just my opinion, I'm a firm believer that, we're no longer, it's not so much as black, white, European, Chinese, whatever race that we have it when it comes to slavery anymore. I'm a firm believer that we're all now in what's called industrial enslavement, and that means that money is now the slave master. Money is now the slave master, which means that it doesn't matter what race you are, if you're not of a socioeconomic class, you're in industrial enslavement. Now, the thing is that if you think that, we're in industrial enslavement, and as black people, you better believe we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Because although now it's almost as if we're all crabs in a pot, but we're the crabs that's at the very bottom of that pot. You better believe it. So my thing is to all blacks, don't spend your money in Chinese businesses. Over in Africa, how can you tell black people? Why would you tell black people, oh no, in China, oh no, you're not allowed in this McDonald's? Don't these people know we taught Ronald McDonald how to two-step shuffle? Don't they know? I mean, listen, you're telling black people you don't want us in. Well, we don't want you over here with your businesses, okay? See, because and this is what I tell most black people, man. Like, we're one race of people. We accept everybody, every other race, but nobody accepts us. And we're around here shucking and jiving, giving people high fives and man, I love these people. And this is not a message of hate, because again, I have mixed kids. My kids are mixed. I'm not against white people. I'm not against Chinese people. I'm not against any people. But there's a certain level of fairness. There's a certain level of understanding. Like, we must stand up. We must show people that how much we mean to this planet. How much we mean to the United States. It's time that black people, we start showing people that we are the asset, not a liability. We are on the pro side when it comes to us being a race as a whole. Our spending power, it means something. See, because, I was always told if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. When are we going to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe? I want you to ask yourself that question. Because, it's time that we show people that, what, we're just not going to take it anymore. I mean, when is enough enough? Maybe this pandemic, maybe this coronavirus, quote unquote, whatever that is, maybe this will be a turning point for black folk. Because a lot of those people that are protesting and that are saying, open the country back up. I mean, I don't know what the hell has changed. I don't know. I don't know what sense of normalcy we've gotten to that all of a sudden, we're ready to open the country back up. I don't see what's really changed. I know the countries that did slowly open up somewhat, I know they had decreasing numbers. I do know that. I haven't seen any numbers that suggest that we've decreased in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the coronavirus. What's changed? So what do we need? More dead people? I mean, think about it. I don't know. Maybe this coronavirus will actually benefit and wake people up, and especially black people. Because right now it's going to show those people that own these companies, these millionaires and billionaires, These people that, they use us, the working class people, for their mere survival, for their lifestyle. And we have to have that same mindset when it comes to our dollar, when it comes to spending at Chinese businesses. Like, we must stop. And I know that, they get the hair, and they do the nails, and they got that monopoly. They got a monopoly on that. They get the products cheap from China. They sell them high here in America, and I know a lot of black women are going to say, but there's no way in hell I can not go to Kim's Wigs. Did you see my hair? Do you see what it looks like? I gotta go to Kim's Wigs. But really, you don't. You just gotta do some research. The same products that they sell. There's a lot of other people that are selling those same products. Just got to do some research. And I'm not saying that, I wouldn't go to, I'm not going, for me personally, I'm not saying that I'm going to the extent or to the degree that I'm going into an actual business and there might be a Chinese product, because they have such a monopoly on everything. We've outsourced so much of our country. The majority of our country, we've outsourced. So it's almost virtually impossible not to have something that's China owned. And I mean, unless you're just making everything yourself. But my point is, I'm not saying that I'm going to the degree or to the extent that I wouldn't just go into an establishment or to a business and not purchase something and it not be Chinese. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is when I know that this establishment is owned by these Chinese folk, what I'm telling you is that I'm not going. They ain't getting my money. And I say it all starts with us as a race. Because it's time that people just stop mistreating us. As if it's okay. It's time. It's time for people to stop mistreating us as a race and think that it's okay. Think that we're just going to lay down. Think that it's okay to kill us. Think that it's okay to shun us. Think that it's okay to think that all we're good for is going to jail. Think that it's okay to think that all we're good for is selling dope. Think that all it's good for is for us to shuck and jive, dance, shoot a basketball, throw a football. That's so far from the truth. The reality of it is that we're some very, very, very smart people. And we have a power in when it comes to spending our money. And we need to stop thinking that violence is the answer. This thing is strategic. It's like we have to use some brain. We have to utilize some brain power because we're very smart people. And when are we going to stop? And I understand it, and I get it with the violence, and I understand that. And a lot of times they say, well, Chinese people or this race of people, blah blah blah. And we think that violence is the answer, and it's not. We have to strategically sit back and come up with a plan. And I believe that the first start to that is taking away our money. When we remove our money, man, I tell you what, if we remove our money, see, people say billion. Well, how in the hell do you think people became billionaires? They didn't become billionaires by spending money. They became billionaires from us spending money. And I don't mean, and when I say us spending money, this part, I'm not solely talking about black people. I'm saying people as a whole. From people spending money, that's how people become billionaires. They didn't become billionaires from them spending money back into the economy. The economy thrives off of the working class people. The economy thrives off our money. Now, this is the part where I'm singling us out when I'm talking about black folk. The economy If we remove our money, I'd love to see how America would exist as a whole. I'd love to see how people would then treat my people. Because in this industrial enslavement, money is the slave master for all people. And I'm willing to bet if black folks would have removed their money out of the Chinese businesses, I guarantee you those people would understand. Because see, what we don't understand, this is what we don't understand. This is what we don't understand. You know, people that come from their countries, all you have to do is talk to some people that are well-traveled, some military folk, some people that travel around the world, and they'll tell you. And what happens is that, and this is what we don't know as blacks in America. This is what we don't realize. You know why? You see the Guatemalans, you see the Mexican, and very rarely do you ever see them dating outside of their race. Very rarely do you see them even deal with, especially black folk. You want to know why? Because before they even enter this country, they are taught, when you get to America, don't you mess with them black folk. Don't mess with black folk. They're bad. They're already taught in their country before ever reaching America. Don't you mess with black folk. They're no good. No, 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 no. Trust me. So I'm telling you, black folk, violence isn't the answer. Us being violent isn't the answer. I'm telling you, we must outthink. We must strategize. We must come up with a plan of action. How do we get our respect? How do we gain respect? You want respect? Take your money. Remove your money. It's like being in a relationship with a woman. And this is vice versa, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm woman bashing, because I'm not. I'm only speaking from a man's perspective because I'm a man. But let me tell you something. Even in dealing in a relationship with a woman, violence isn't going to solve anything. Violence heals. But what I will tell you is, if you want to send a message to that woman that you've had enough, and that enough is enough, and I'm not dealing with you anymore, and I've had enough and I'm tired, take your money. Remove your money. Now, can she go, if you guys are married legally through the courts? Can she go, if you guys have kids together, to the courts? Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that prior to her, she'd have to go and do that. But prior to her doing that, trust me, it'll send a clear-cut message that, hey, I have had enough. I have had enough. Remove your money. That money you used to spend. That money you used to put in the household. Go get a room. Go rent a room. Go get you an apartment. Whatever. But I tell you what, everything comes to the forefront when you take your money out of it. And it's the same idea and concept when it comes to dealing with other races, and when it comes to dealing with these Chinese folk. Because I'm telling you, even over in Africa, man, they're telling blacks that they're not allowed in their shops. How dare you? See, here's the thing. And you guys are going to see it ever more present now during this so-called quote-unquote coronavirus, right? Because what happens is that tragedies issues, problems bring out the worst in a lot of people and in most people. And even some of you that have been friends with so-and-so for many a year, and you guys might remain friends. So you think. But even some of them are going to truly show their true colors. I'm telling you, because in adversity and in times of anguish and in times and hard times brings out the truth in a lot of folk. So don't be surprised that during this pandemic, during this coronavirus, that some of your friends, you're going to fall out with some of your friends. You and some of your friends aren't going to be friends anymore. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. Because this is going to bring out the worst in a lot of people. See, you're going to see some of those people that were saying that, hey, man, I'm cool. I have plenty of black friends. How dare they say I'm racist? My next door neighbor's black. Every day when I go out and get the paper, I speak to him in the mornings. Let me tell you something. Crises brings out the true colors of a lot of individuals. And I'm not saying that, black people and white people, all black people and white people are going to hate each other or going to mistreat each other. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there's some true hardcore racist people that have been wolves in sheep clothing, that this crisis is going to bring out the true color in them. So, I guess people say, well, why are you going from race to, because right now we are in this coronavirus, and as black people, we've been mistreated once again by a race of people. And I know once the coronavirus, if it's ever over or when it's over, I know that a lot of black people are going to be shucking and jiving, rubbing elbows, and saying, hey, man, I check this out. I had a young lady on Facebook. My homie, Sam Kennedy, made a post and tagged me in it. And he talked about joining me in boycotting the Chinese businesses. Now, Facebook friends, you tell me if this isn't sad. You tell me if this isn't sad. All the things that we're talking about right now, all of the things that I'm talking about right now as black folk as a whole, you tell me this isn't sad. I had a young lady comment on his post that I was tagged in, and you know what she said? Do you guys really want to know what she said? And you think about this. She said, oh my God, how could you guys even talk like that? This is a young black lady, a young black woman. She says, how could you guys talk like that? My nail tech is Vietnamese. It's a Vietnamese business that I go to and get my nails done, my toes done, and they're friends of mine. The father, he knows me by name. On my birthday, he sends me cards. Black folk, let's stop. We must stop. Because every Spanish person that owns every Spanish person that owns a store, black folk, and I'm talking to you black folk, every Spanish person that owns a corner store in the hood is not Arab. Every, Vietnamese person, every person from, oh God, I'm having a brain fart again. But every person that looks that way isn't Chinese. Let's just understand that. Let's just make that clear first. Because I was shocked that this young lady, exuded that level of ignorance. I'm sorry, but that's just what it was. That level of ignorance. My nail tech is Vietnamese. they're Vietnamese people. Like, really? Really? I said, I could have sworn. I could have sworn. Because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I could have sworn that the headline, that the subtitle for the post was Chinese people. Huh? I thought it said Chinese people. Man, that was sad. Really sad. And she was offended. And see, here's my thing. Whether her Vietnamese nail tech or business owner is good friends of hers in her mind, or whatever the case may be. See, my point is that why does she get so offended? That's what blows my mind. Why does she get so offended? Because even if let's say that she thought that they were Vietnamese and in turn they turned out to be really Chinese, right? And the post was about Chinese people, right? Why do black people feel the need to be so protective of everybody else? Let's not get it twisted. I don't have any Chinese friends, but I don't hate Chinese people. But I will. Even if I'm by myself, because in my great mind, even if I'm by myself, if I take my dollar out of that Chinese business, I've done my job. I don't care who does it and who doesn't do it, but that's just me, and I can sleep comfortably at night knowing that you ain't buy another Toyota of Miss Wilburn's son money. That part. Now, back to this young lady. Why was she so offended? Why do we feel the need as black people to protect everybody else? Who in the hell is protecting us? Because as a race, not only are we the most hated race of people in the world, but even amongst our own race. Now, I'll give us a pass. Because, see, that's the argument with other races that they use against black folk. They say, well, you guys kill each other all the time. You guys do more dirt to each other all the time. You guys hate each other more than other people. Okay, I'll give us a pass. Because not only are we the most hated race of people in the world, but we're also the most brainwashed race of people in the world. And it comes in all different forms. It comes through the music and entertainment. It comes through, the history that we're taught in school. It comes through, in so many different forms it comes. We're one of the most brainwashed people. We were taught how to hate each other. Because, let me tell you something. The only strength comes from unification. How do you weaken a race? It's quite simple. Divide it. There's no strength in division. When you take a number, and my mom was a mathematician. I'm not, but she was. But even if you were to take a whole number, right? And whatever you divide that whole number by, say for instance, I'll just use the whole number 50. Right? The number 50. Whenever I divide the number 50 by anything, guess what, people? It's no longer 50. Think about it. When it goes from 50, it has no power at being 50. It's been lessened. It's been taken away from. It's been divided. So it no longer can function as being 50. Think about it. Just think about it. So I give us a pass. I give us a pass, black folk, when it comes to the hate that we have for each other. I give us a pass. Guys like, and here's one other thing I want to touch on. I want to touch on this real quick, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like this, because see, I'm one of those people that when Obama became president, I'm one of those people that cried, because at 50, I'm 51 years old. And in my 51 years on this earth, I was one of those people that never thought that I'd ever see any man of color become president. But let me clear something up real quick about that. I just want to touch on that real quick. I'm not going to stay stuck on it, but I want to touch on that right quick. And this is just my opinion. And, I know people aren't going to like it. And who likes it, cool. And who doesn't, cool. But let me tell you something. Obama wasn't my president. I know people gonna get mad. I know about people like black folk, because see, black folk, again, I keep telling us, we have to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We have to stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe. See, because when Obama became president, and they felt as though they did something for black folk, and they got a man of color, and they did something for black folk, my thing is that Obama wasn't my choice. It wasn't my president. Because if you want to give me a president that represents black folk, and that's somebody that we would stand a chance of having anything done for us. And it's not even a matter of having anything done for us, in my opinion. The thing is that, Obama was their choice. Now, you guys think about it. Think about it. Obama was their choice. They picked the ideal Negro to put in that chair, to put in the White House. Now, see, because had they got an individual like Muhammad Ali, Louis Farrakhan, Malcolm X, or even Martin Luther King, that would have been closer. I could agree with them that you guys got a president for me. You guys went and got a Negro for y'all. That was who you guys thought that you trust running this country or being in that position of power. Because we all know the president don't really run the country anyway, but put in that position of power, given that level of authority. That was your president. It wasn't my president. My president, if you want to give me somebody that's my president, you give me a Negro that looks a little bit like me. My complexion, black, dark. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be an Uncle Tom. He wouldn't get in there and be with some buffoonery. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you want to give me a president to represent black folk, let us pick the Negro. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just keeping it real. That wasn't my president. That was y'all president. You guys picked him to be president. You guys went and strategically selected a Negro just to put in the chair to appease black folk, for black folk, again, to be brainwashed and fooled and tricked into thinking that you did something for them. Now, I'm not taking away from the legacy of Obama, because, I feel as though he exuded class. I think the Obamas, were upstanding people when they were in the White House. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not taking anything away from Obama. What I am saying is that, Obama, you were selected by those people, not by my people. You weren't my president. I gave you some examples of people that I thought would have represented us as a black folk a little bit better. You put somebody like Muhammad Ali. Vote him as president. If you want to represent us as a black race, as a people, somebody like Malcolm X. Somebody like Louis Farrakhan. Somebody like Martin Luther King. Somebody like Coretta Scott King. Let's get real. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of that, and I'm gonna go back to black folk. Please, We must stop allowing people to just take advantage of us and to treat us any kind of way. And again, this is not because I know that, you know, I'm gonna have a lot of my white friends. But see, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. See, my friends that are white, that are real, and that probably are truly my friends, I won't have a problem with them in regards to this message. It's the ones that were really underlying fake, phony anyway, that this is just going to give them an excuse to say, oh, we never liked Jonathan anyway. And I ain't even worried about them. I'm not even worried about those people, because I tell people all the time, there are some white folk that I got love for that I consider friends. You know, but I don't have any Chinese folk that's coming knocking on my door that I'm friends with. You know, I don't hate Chinese people, but they haven't even let me get close enough in their world to even know anything about them. You know, I to be honest, there was a joke on Facebook. You know, I don't even let me when I thought about this joke on Facebook, it made me think of something, people. And this is what I want us to understand. Now, I'm talking about Americans as a whole, because I know people say that people come from all different places in the world, and, you know, we can't just say that we're Americans and because America is a melting pot. But here's the thing. I'm not talking about the people that just came here. I'm talking about Americans. And when I say Americans, I mean the people that have, you know, generations and generations of family that have been in this country. I'm talking dating back all the way from, you know, starting from the 1930s. When I'm talking about Americans. And the thing is that, see, because my you know, my job, my line of work is sales. And in sales, I experience it all the time. You know, because when the first thing is that, and I'm going to tie this into the Chinese thing, people, so I'm not veering far off from the message. But my thing is that in dealing with and being in sales, and I come across this quite often. You know, when I call a certain household, and when they answer the phone, bueno. What do you mean, bueno? This is America. Bueno? They answer the phone, bueno. You know why? Because they're living in the United States of America. And they feel as though we buy with our own people. And we don't have to be subject to the telemarketing crap. We don't have to be subject to any form of marketing. And we won't. And we're not. And my thing is this. If you're in America and you don't speak a lick of English, then you shouldn't be in America. And if you don't speak any English, you need to be learning some English. Because if I move to Mexico, if I move to Italy, if I move to France, you know what? I am going to try and learn the language, because I want to know what the hell's going on around me. And I want to know what people are saying. And that's their slick way of not buying back, of not investing, and not spending into our economy as a foreigner. Bueno? The hell you mean, bueno? You must be to hear what Donald Trump said as far as sending y'all back to y'all country, putting up a wall. I don't think you got that message. Because if you're in America, and I know that's a tactic that y'all been taught, that you guys have been taught in your household, that when you receive a phone call, and if it's a telemarketer, you answer the phone, bueno. Because that's going to automatically let them know, hey, I ain't buying nothing you selling. Now, if one of my people call, I might buy something, but not from you. Why should they be in our country and not have to warrant the same things that we have to deal with and go through as American people? Why? Why? How can you live in the United States and you not be subject to... none of us like telemarketing calls. But guess what? It's America. America is a capitalistic society. We're based on free trade and sale. Why should any group of people or race of people live in America and not have to be subject to everything that America is, man? That's America. But you gonna answer the phone, bueno. Get the out of here, bueno. Go back to wherever you're from. If you don't want to telemarketing calls, if you don't want to have to buy things in America, if you don't want to have to spend your dollar. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because, and I go back to us black folk not spending our money in Chinese businesses. See, I go back, I want to talk about that. And the reason I brought that up is because, let me see, how many of you guys have seen Chinese people pumping gas, putting gas in their car? I haven't. I don't know where in the hell they got gas pumps or gas stations at, but I sure as hell don't see them at the local Sunoco or Mobile or Texaco or Racetrack or any of those places. When do they ever run out of gas? Do they ever run out of gas? I don't know. Maybe they come at night. Maybe they come at midnight. I don't know. But I never see them even at gas. See, the reason I brought that up is because, see, Chinese folk are very good at that. They live off of everything that's America. But when do they spend money? I'm not saying that they don't spend any money. But what I'm saying is that if you live in America, you're just as subject to what this capitalistic society is as any other American. This is how America exists. It's based upon the economy. So everybody that lives in this country needs to be spending some money in this economy to keep America going and being the country that it is. And if you don't feel as though you're subject to that, you should be subject to that. If you don't feel like that applies to you, then you shouldn't be here. That's the bottom line. You shouldn't be in America. If you don't want to spend your money, you want everybody to buy something from you and see Americans. I want us. If people don't spend in our economy, stop buying their products. Stop buying things from those people. If they ain't spending money back just as much as we're spending money back, if they ain't going to Burger King, because Chinese people, they don't want to eat Burger King, they don't want to eat McDonald's, they don't want to go into Macy's, they don't want to buy a Mustang, they don't want to buy a Ford, you know what I mean? Man, stop spending money with them. Americans, stop spending money with those people. If they ain't buying back and spending money in this economy, keeping this country great and keeping this country some level of financial stability as a country as a whole, man, stop spending your money with them. Anybody, and I urge all Americans, any race of people that are not spending money in our economy, that is not spending their money buying our products, or whatever our products are, I don't know, because so much has been outsourced. But any person, any people that are not spending money in our economy, any race of people, man, stop buying their products. Chinese people over here in America, man, and they're just living off the land. They're living off the land. But again, and this message this is a part of the message I'm solely talking to black folk. Chinese people never liked us. Now that we have this crisis, their true colors are really showing, and they're able to use this. See, they're using this coronavirus as an excuse to behave the way they're behaving towards us. They never liked us. So what I'm telling black folk is, man, we got to stop spending our hard-earned dollar in those businesses. And let them let them understand that, you know what, man, black or on. We don't spend no black or on. We're not going no black or on business. We spend our money with them. They don't spend their money with us. And I'm telling you, black folk, they will realize and understand the power of the almighty American dollar. And Puma stealing, I said Chinese. You're bringing up a point about James being Korean. I said Chinese. And if my message isn't, if you don't understand my message, and if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's perfectly fine to delete yourself or block me from Facebook. I'm perfectly fine with that, because my message is what it is, and it's going to be what it is, and that's not going to change. I'm just going to keep it real with my people first. I love all people. I'm not, I'm far from a racist. I'm not one of those people that promote hate. I don't, but I do say that I do encourage black folk, let's utilize our spending power, and yet let's utilize our mental. Let's learn how to think strategically, as opposed to, F so and so and forget this brace and forget that. We got to cut that out. That doesn't do anything for us as a race. It doesn't. We don't progress in that, But we will progress in our spending power, showing people that who we really are and what we really mean to this country, what we really mean to this world. We take our money out. We stop. But we have to start with these Chinese folk, man, because it's horrible. It's horrible. And again, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Black folk, let's do better. Let's do better with our money. Let's do better with our spending power. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for letting me share.